everybody, and welcome back to Milwaukee inside Miller Park. Once again, the roof is closed, so temperature controlled for the third game of a four-game set. Lots of fun outside, a great tailgating experience here at Miller Park. And, of course, glad to be here as we play a night. Oh, look who's here. Look at that. They're carpooling. Fantastic. We are so in-depth on this broadcast, we have a scouting report on the Racing Sausages coming up. One of the many reasons why you'll be sticking with us tonight for the next 3 hours or so. Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth here with you inside the broadcast booth. All right, so not so good for the Marlins, right? The Milwaukee Brewers, we know that they've got a great offense, and boy, have they woken up. We've seen a lot of Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich, and now, even though he didn't start the first game, Ryan Braun's made an impact in the first two.
Well, you've got to have somebody in the middle of your lineup that's going to capitalize on all the base runners that we've seen at the top of this Brewers lineup. We've ranted and raved about Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich getting on base. Well, how about this guy leading the team in RBIs and driving in 5 runs in 2 games? Yeah, that's right. He didn't even start game 1. Big pitch hit, 3-run homer in game 1. Home run last night. Listen, if you make mistakes to Ryan Braun at the top of the zone, especially off-speed pitches, he will probably take you deep. I've watched his entire career. I've been in this division for a long time. I've seen him do it many times. You got to get the ball down to Braun.
And tomorrow in the pregame show, by the way, Marlins Live pregame, Jessica Blaylock is going to have a little chat with Ryan Braun, of course, a former Miami Hurricane. All right, so to the starting pitchers right now, of course, it's not been going really well for the Marlins and their pitchers as of late. So who do you go to? Your ace. Jose Urena needs a good start, and he's been in these situations before trying to end skids.
He's been in these situations going back to last year, and he's flourished. That's what he did so well last year. Awesome numbers. 14 wins, 3.5 ERA in the 21 starts following a team loss last season. Listen, there have been signs that Urena is back. I know that you look at the first 4 starts, you look at his ERA, you say it's up there, but this is a spot where he has thrived. He thrived there last year. Good opportunity tonight for him to go out and really build off of that.
On the flip side of this matchup, it's a soft-tossing lefty who works quick. Brent Suter is on the bump.
Well, that's right, a lefty. So it'll be a bit of a challenge. Of course, listen, the Marlins are doing anything in their power to get some offense going right now, and whether it's a hard-throwing righty or a soft-tossing lefty, they're looking to put together some good at-bats up and down the lineup. Suter's got a good cutter, so be heads up for that.
Looking for a bounce back tonight here in the third of a 4-game set against the Milwaukee Brewers. Mentioned it before, a great tailgating town. Jessica Blaylock is in the parking lot trying to get some brats and some sausages and all kinds of snacks. We're back in a moment. but also a cool experience out in the parking lot, as it's one of the great tailgating venues in all of sports. For more on that, let's send it out to Jessica Blaylock.
Hey guys, one of the best things about coming to a Brewers game is the atmosphere. Take a look around me. This is similar to a college football tailgate. We got burgers on the grill. Hey guys, can I have a burger?
Oh yeah, right here.
All right, thanks so much. Follow me, because we've got more than just burgers. We've got games, we've got cornhole, we've got an awesome crowd that's hanging out right over here. That includes my new friend, Jim. Hey, Jim, did you want a burger?
I do.
All right, you can take that one right there. So, Jim, tell me, what do we have going on here?
Well, we got some burgers. We got some brats and sausages cooking over there. Fine day at Miller Park and watch some Marlins and Brewers baseball. Gonna have a good time.
And the cold can't keep you guys away, right?
Oh, we're loving this heat wave we've got going on out here right now.
The heat wave in Milwaukee, a little bit different than Miami. So we've got brats, we've got burgers, we've got baseball, and coming up next, we have first pitch in Game 3 of a 4-game series between the Marlins and the Brewers. Paul Severino and Todd Hollingsworth will have the call for you next.
WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. And they love their baseball here in the Midwest, and they certainly like what the Brewers have done over the course of this homestand thus far, so it's up to that man right there, Jose Urena, to slow down the bats of the Milwaukee Brewers. But first, the bats of the Marlins, and a bit of a new look, a couple of tweaks here or there in the Marlins lineup, as Miguel Rojas will lead things off tonight, leading off for the first time in 2018. Brian Anderson and Justin Bour flip-flop. Brian Anderson, for the better part of this season, has been out of the number 5 spot 3 times, though. He has hit in the cleanup spot where he is today. And behind the plate, giving JT Realmuto the day off, is Brian Holliday. So Miguel Rojas set to dig in. He had that 10-game hit streak snapped in the opener on Thursday, and he'll face Brent Suter, whose first pitch is inside for ball 1.
Brent Suter, 4 starts on the season, 4.37 ERA, 20, just a little over 20 innings pitched, 23 hits, 15 strikeouts. He pitches to contact. He'll get the occasional strikeout. One thing you're going to pick up on is he doesn't throw very hard. That's clearly the case tonight. Righties hitting .297 against him. Lefties .211 coming in.
Work fast, throw slow. He is a little bit like Mark Burley. Get the ball and throw it, as Miguel Rojas
with a high fly ball down the left field line. This is Ryan Braun in the corner, if it ever comes down, for out number 1.
Let's give you the AutoNation scouting report of Brent Suter. Don't be fooled. Although he features below average velocity, as I just mentioned, he's got a good cutter as well as a four-seamer. He puts it where he wants most of the time. A little unorthodox, throws across his body and snaps that head down. Short and sweet. He's gone 12 consecutive starts without pitching 6 innings. So again, that's what they're looking for from him. 1-2 times through the lineup. Then we're going to go to the bullpen. Runners in scoring position. Let's hope the Marlins can do this tonight. He's struggled out of the stretch. .353 batting average against. He's also struggled early in the game. 7.50 ERA. That's right, 7.50 in the first 3 innings of a game.
Well, quickly ahead 0-2 to Derek Dietrich, who was 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. 3 for 18 with a run and an RBI on this road trip thus far. So he and Rojas flip-flopping at the top of the order as Dietrich flies one out to deep right field. Yelich going back. He's looking up, and that one is gone. A solo home run for Derek Dietrich. And the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
Very nice swing of the bat. The 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball down. Dietrich, great extension to the bottom of the zone. High arcing fly ball into right center field. Marlins on the board early.
He hadn't homered since March 31st against Yu Darvish, but he connects on the solo shot right there. And an early run for the Marlins.
Good numbers against the Brewers coming in over the last 11 games. .357. Let's take another look at the swing and breaking ball. It was supposed to be on the outside part of the plate. This stays probably center. Center looked a little into me, but great extension to what you want to see on that breaking ball. He likes it here.
I think so. I think he does. His 5th home run in 17 games. So 3 balls and no strikes to Starlin Castro, who was 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's ball game.
And there's a good look at the cut fastball from Suter. Features that along with the four-seamer, as I mentioned. We'll throw a slider and a changeup.
Back-to-back strikes to run the count full to Starlin Castro.
The slider will be at about 85 miles an hour. That's the one pitch trending up, using a lot more of the slider, a lot less of the changeup.
Chop to the left side. This is the second baseman, VR. And he gets Castro by a step over at first.
Brewers defense is brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Here is the Brewers defense for tonight's game. Braun, Kane, Yelich in right. Shaw over at third base. Sogard gets the start at shortstop. VR, Thames, Bandy, and Suter on the mound. Where Arcia had to leave, the starting shortstop for the Brewers earlier this series, had to leave last night after rolling his ankle. So Sogard's getting the start tonight at short. The X-rays were negative, but out of the lineup for now. You see Sogard.
Brian Anderson takes a look at strike 2. One and 2 to Brian Anderson. Was 10 RBIs this year. It's tied for the 6th most in Marlins rookie history, at least in terms of March and April games, but he comes up empty here. Suter gives up the home run to Derek Dietrich. So a run to work with for Jose Urena. 1-0 Marlins. Derek Dietrich with a solo home run, as that gave the Marlins a 1-0 lead. So as we take a look here at Craig Counsell's starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, it has been the top of this order that has done some damage in the first 2 games of this series, led mostly by that man Lorenzo Cain. It seems as though he is on base just about every time out there, and that top 5 has done most of the damage, driving in a ton of the runs for this Brewers team that is currently outscoring the opposition 24-3 during their 4-game win streak. They are 4-1 on this 7-game homestand. The first pitch from Urena is in there for a called strike, who's making his 5th start of the season and 1st on the road.
All right, here's Urena's numbers on the season. 0-3, don't pay attention to that. 5.57 ERA, don't pay attention to that either. 2.84 opponent's batting average. Close your eyes. Here's what we're going to focus on. 2017, listen, he was 9-2 on the road. He had a whip of 1.14. He was fantastic in follow-up starts. Marlins lost. He did a great job of that, and I think it's a real good opportunity for him tonight if he settles in early. Watch early in this game, that first time through the lineup. Urena has had issues at time at the beginning of ball games. ERA up near 9 that first time through the lineup.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Lorenzo Cain. Grounds 1 to Rojas, waits for the hop, throws off balance and out at first base. Nice play by Rojas, and a nice job to keep the toe on the bag by Bohr over at first. 1 away.
Good start to the ball game. Waited back, maybe thought that ball was hit a little bit harder. Had to make this quick field and throw across the diamond just before he keeps his foot on the bag. Marlins defense brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dietrich, Brinson, Maben is your outfield. Anderson, Rojas, Castro, and Bohr. Holiday gets the start behind the plate with Urena on the mound.
Urena works to his former teammate Christian Yelich, who's 2 for 6 in this series. 3 for 8 on the homestand, fresh off the disabled list. This series opened on Thursday. He came off the DL on Wednesday against the Cincinnati Reds. Missed about 8 games with an oblique injury, but back. And part of that top 5 in the Brewers lineup, Cain, Yelich, Braun, Shaw, and Thames, who have combined to reach safely 16 times while scoring 8 runs in this series against the Marlins. As much as I'm sure some people would like to think that that's a Marlins problem, I would like to think that this is just the way that the Brewers are going to operate. This is a high-powered offense that clearly only got stronger with the acquisitions of Cain and Yelich for the 2018 season. And these guys are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Well, when you're in Miller Park, I think it's okay to say just a bit outside. But that was a no pitch as time was called. There's an ode to Bob Uecker. The 1-2. 2 up and 2 down. First strikeout for Urena.
Urena right after it. That's what you like to see. An aggressive first time through the lineup. We talked about some of the shortcomings with the Marlins staff here on the road trip. Some of the issues putting hitters away, the walks piling up. And 2 batters in is any indicator of what we will see tonight. Urena looks to be aggressive.
And now it's Ryan Braun, 3 for 6 in the series, couple of home runs, 5 RBIs. The pinch hit home run on Thursday night drove in 3 and got him to a nice round number, 1,000 RBIs in his career, as he takes up and in 1-0. Five for 11 on the homestand. And grounds 1 to Anderson at third. A nice 1-2-3 inning for Jose Urena. An 11 pitch first. Marlins up 1-0. 1, 2, 3 for Jose Urena. Those numbers, that has been the issue for the Marlins as of late. Almost 24 pitches in the first inning on average. Today, 7 strikes, 11 total pitches. And that's what Don Mattingly talked about before the game. We've got to attack hitters. We've got to get our starters to work deeper into games.
Right man for the job. Urena, we know his style. He's aggressive. Players like playing behind him. They rant and rave. Heard it all last year about how much fun it was to play behind him. He goes at hitters. He's fearless. Tonight was a great example of that in the first inning. You hope it continues throughout the game. This Brewers lineup top to bottom. As I was listening to you in the first inning and all the accolades that were going up and down the Brewers lineup, I'm thinking, you know, this is a game where you're trying to maybe come out and you're like trying to make pitches on the edge of the plate. Urena said, I'm going right at these guys. I'm not backing down.
Ball to 2 strikes to Justin Bour. That one is low, and the count 2-2. But again, that's the thing. I mean, we have talked about how good this Brewers offense is. They will get their hits. The problem is you can't allow as many walks as they have issued the last couple of nights.
Well, the thing with the Brewers is the slugging percentage, and we've witnessed it in the first 2 games specifically. That, you know, as the Marlins go toe-to-toe, and they've in a lot of ways matched him in the hit column at different times throughout this game. They're hitting home runs regularly and doubles and triples and you know, taking the extra base, where the Marlins are getting hits, singles, building innings.
Reaches out and pokes that one through the middle of the diamond. Justin Bour with a leadoff base hit here in the second.
Well, for the second left-handed batter, we saw the willingness to go down low into the zone. Watch the extension. Is he fooled by that pitch just a little bit and using his hands to whistle one into center field?
Got up on Eric Sogard quick, but either way, the Marlins will take it. A base hit to center field. And they've got the leadoff man on here in the second for Cameron Maybin. Maybin 0 for 3 last night, came in as part of a double switch. 1 for 11 on this road trip, but you know, we always hang her out down the cage before the game, and I've always noticed that he uses that axe handle bat, and I noticed he wasn't using that today. So I said, Cam, you using a different bat? And he said, yes, I'm using Justin Bour's bat. It's a little bit heavier, 2 or 3 ounces heavier. Says he's been feeling good. He just wants to kind of utilize his hands a little bit more, and I would say game plan worked perfectly with a base hit. 2 on, nobody out here in the second.
Doesn't it feel good, Paul? Right when you're on time like that? Feels good, doesn't it?
Can't teach it. But you can't teach it.
I'm not talking about the base hit. I'm talking about you.
I know. You can't teach it.
That's right. Well, great swing from Maybin right there. Pulls the hands in just as you described, close to the body, and uses them, drives it into left field. A little fun with Thames over at first base. I think he's asking for some of his bicep.
There's plenty to go around. The dude is put together. So now Lewis Brinson would like to keep the train moving here. Back-to-back singles for Bour and Maybin. Brinson 0 for 2 last night. A couple of home runs in the opener on Thursday night. His first 2 Marlins home runs, and that came on the heels of a couple of games off, 3 days off, to just kind of rework a couple of things here or there. And you noted it yesterday. It might have to do with the hands.
Well, he shortened his swing. It's really just that takeaway. And from where he starts his hands now, he's moving them back just maybe a half an inch or an inch just to get him going and then bring him right into the zone. We saw it again.
This one is laced to left center field, and that one is gone. A 3-run home run for Lewis Brinson. It's 4-0 Marlins.
Well, I'll finish the statement. We saw it right there, I guess. That quick entry into the hitting zone. You have to maintain your discipline. You go up against Brent Suter type, does not throw hard. Got to maintain your strike zone discipline, and you've seen it with all 3 hitters this inning. You saw it with Dietrich as well, working down in the zone. Great swing from Brinson once again. Line shot out to left center field.
3 home runs in the series. Brian Holliday takes a called strike.
Another look, heading the count. Ball creeps back out. That's the cut fastball. Leaks to that center lane. Right above the knees.
And now Holiday lofts one out to center field. That one's going to hang up for Kane. One away.
Yeah, we've talked repeatedly. Watch the leg kick, too, as part of the conversation. See how he gets it up and down. He's starting to swing earlier. We noticed that the other day as well. You got to be on time, whether it's 85 or 95 miles an hour. Your swing, your hands cannot come into the hitting zone until your front foot hits. And you see him now over the last few days. One of those adjustments he made was getting that front foot down earlier. It's very, very common with hitters today. You don't see it with some of the younger Marlins hitters. You see it with some of the big guys as well. You see it around baseball a lot. When that front leg lifts up early, that's because of the velocity. They want to get the swing going. They start to swing actually as the pitcher starts his delivery to plate. I'm not talking about the ball out of hand. I'm talking the mechanics. Steps back on the mound. You know, he turns his shoulders. He gets ready to deliver the baseball. You've got hitters that are waiting there with a leg in the air, trying to get that swing timing down.
Urania is retired. There are 2 outs here in inning number 2. That's the second strikeout for Brent Suter so far in this ball game. Hit it out of the park with a family-friendly deal Sunday, April 29th, when the Marlins take on the Rockies at 1 p.m. Pick up the Aquafina Family 4-pack and score 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs, and 4 Pepsi soft drinks or Aquafina waters, starting at just $84. Get your tickets at marlins.com/offers. Back to the top of the order for Miguel Rojas.
The Brewers have lost the last 3 Suter starts. Bit of a trend.
He's given up 2 home runs in this one. Derek Dietrich, a solo home run in the first. And Lewis Brinson with a 3-run home run a moment ago after back-to-back singles for Bohr and Maben. Well, I understand that it's not the game plan to go out there and lose big, but the Marlins, when they have done that this year, they have answered back quickly, it seems, the next day, whether it was the loss in Philadelphia, whether it was the loss in the Bronx earlier in this road trip, or last night, getting shut out 8-0. As Rojas draws the free pass.
Well, it forces you to focus in on the moment. You get bad losses, bad taste in your mouth as you leave the clubhouse the night before and you endure a 12-1 loss. You got to have a short-term memory. Get back the next day and get right back to work. John Mattingly and his staff have done a fabulous job here in the early going, keeping the work consistent. He's getting here early, working through some of the bumps and grinds that all teams work through early on in April.
Dietrich swings at the first pitch, pops this one up into right center field. Yelich moving in and over and puts it away. But 3 more runs on the board thanks to 1 swing of the bat. Lewis Brinson with a laser to left center. It's 4-0. The bottom of the second inning, Travis Shaw, Eric Thames, and Eric Sogard due up against Jose Urena. His first offering misses outside, a ball and no strikes. Shaw 4 for 6 in the series with a home run, homered in last night's ball game. 6 for 15 on the homestand.
He leads the team in hits, doubles, total bases. After a good start this season. For Urena, you see the two-seam fastball, the four-seam fastball. You've seen the two-seamer almost exclusively here in the early going. It's been very effective. The slider, as well as the changeup at times. For Urena, one thing that really stood out to me, Paul, kind of going through his numbers through 4 starts. When he gets ahead of a hitter, hitters are hitting 120 against him. You're saying, all right, he's doing his job. He's making pitches. Secondary stuff is working. When he's falling behind hitters, but get this, 476 batting average.
Shaw out to left center field, gives this one a ride, and that one is gone. A solo home run for Travis Shaw. It's now 4-1.
The big lefty and that strong approach at home plate, gets the arms extended, power to all fields. 31 home runs last season, home run last night, home run tonight as well. But getting back to the numbers that I was merely talking about, it's as simple as this. Urena's made too many mistakes out over the plate. Look where that is, outer third above the knee, thigh high. And as a pitch, a left-handed power hitter will look to drive, and he gets it on the 2-strike pitch.
Thames takes strike 1. We mentioned the categories that Shaw leads this team in. Thames leads the Brewers in home runs with 7. Shaw just connected on his 4th.
Thames 6 home runs over his last 12 games. Last 6 games versus the Marlins, he's got a couple of home runs as well, 6 for 13. And he has definitely shown some susceptibility to the changeup. He showed it last night as well. He's changing it, chasing it right now.
1-2 to Thames. Just misses inside at 96 miles an hour from Urena. Well, they can certainly hit the long ball here in Milwaukee. That's 26. Looking up only at the Colorado Rockies. This one is drilled to right, but right at Cameron Maybin for out number 1. Another hard hit ball, but right into the glove of Maybin, 1 away.
Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go.
This is Eric Sogard again getting the start today at shortstop. He takes ball 1. In there for Orlando Arcia, who rolled his surgically repaired right ankle in last night's ball game. Results of the x-ray were negative, so that's certainly good for the Brewers. It was the same ankle that he fractured back in 2012 when he was in the minor leagues and missed the whole season. The young man hasn't been on the disabled list since he got up to the big leagues in August of 2016. So give it a day, see how he feels. Obviously a big part of this team offensively and certainly defensively. Put on a display last night on a slow roller coming in, and then the play in shallow left center field as well that he made. But this was the injury after the base hit through the right side. Took a turn, throw came home, it was cut off. Bore through to Castro, and he's kind of jammed that ankle a little bit. But again, x-rays negative. have hair, but I don't know if I would do that if I did. That's just me, though. But I don't know. 3-2, broken bat to Bohr. 2 away. Two outs for Jonathan VR. 0 for 4 in the series. 3 for 13 on this 7-game homestand for the Brewers. A leadoff home run for Travis Shaw. Fly out and a ground out. Urania is trying to limit the damage here in inning number 2.
I'll let Urania right back at it now. Some hot hitters in this lineup. Saw the mistake to Shaw, but he's been on point since. Dialing up the low corner. Able to get in under the hands of the left-handed hitter as well.
Since his last start, or at least including his last start, Marlins pitchers an 8.36 ERA. So obviously the guy who gets the opening day start, the probably undeniable ace of this staff, going to try to right his own ship, but also try to figure out a way to straighten things out for this entire pitching staff. And in doing so, you would think that means setting the tone by keeping the Brewers off the board. It would also mean working deep into the ball game as well, something Don Mattingly would love for his ace to do tonight.
Well, he's well on his way. He's had a good start. Of course, he gives up the home run to Shaw. But, you know, here's the thing. You look at Urania's numbers, you know, top to bottom, not just wins, not losses. Of course, he's still looking for his first win. Don't pay attention to his ERA. I look at his fastball velocity, the effectiveness of the pitches, what hitters are hitting against him. Things aren't off a whole lot. Really, the one thing I would let Marlins fan know about Urania is just stay out of the middle of the plate.
Into the shift. Castro tracks it down, and after the home run, he sets him down 1-2-3. 4-1 after 2. Marlins, as Jose Urania gave up the home run to Travis Shaw, but came right back, retired the next 3 in order. Trying to solidify himself tonight and also get things back on track for the pitching staff. But it's the offense right now is back at it in the top of the 3rd. Starlin Castro, Brian Anderson, and Justin Bohr due up against Brent Suter. Castro grounded out to the shortstop side of the second base bag back in the first inning, but it was to the second baseman, Jonathan VR.
See the Brewers overshifting on Castro, who lately has been hitting a lot of ground balls to the left side.
But as professional a hitter as Starlin Castro is, the fan in me would sit here and say, well, just go the other way. But what do I know?
At bat execution, when you're locked in, that's a lot easier to do than really to worry about when you're not. It's a whole nother ballgame, and I'd say Starlin Castro right now is kind of working on finding his stroke again.
May have just found it at least for an at-bat, a line drive base hit. Well, don't hit it through the shift, hit it over the shift, and then run to second base. And he's tagged out. The ball kind of got away in the middle of the diamond. And then it was flipped underhand to Castro. And Don Mattingly and the coaching staff are going to take a look and see whether or not the tag was applied in time. Just trying to get a little aggressive. Take another look.
Love the aggressiveness. No issues here. Marlins up 4-1. Certainly want to see it. Lorenzo Cain a little bit lazy getting the ball in. Short hops the second baseman, and Starlin Castro is going to do his best to try to get into second base. Thames, quick flip with the glove. Ooh, I'm not so sure.
Well, the Marlins are not going to challenge.
Well, maybe I need to be. Now, I like the way Starlin Castro is thinking on that play. I certainly love what he was reading. It's the way the ball got back into the infield. Brewers at times this season have been sloppy. 21 errors. It could have cost him.
Brian Anderson takes a called strike. He struck out back in the first inning. And now 1-2. And that's the thing with Thames, is if he doesn't just kind of grab it with the glove and flip it all in one motion. Castro's in there. Nice execution by Thames.
He saved it. I mean, really, the Brewers should have been burned because they were a little lazy going after that. Lorenzo Cain's effort was, he was okay getting over to the ball, but the throw back into the infield had some air underneath it. Comes in short hops, gets away. Thames saves the day. Made like a superhero.
A superhero night here at the ballpark.
You saw how you are.
Absolutely. You and I know that.
That was intentional.
Of course. You're on your game. That's why. Captain America bobblehead night here for the select ticket package here at Miller Park.
Clearly had it on the mind.
And now Anderson out to left field. This is off the wall. To get this one in quick, Anderson to second. He slides in safely with a one-out double.
Well, it's great to see the extra base power from the Marlins tonight. Fifth double of the season, Anderson.
Just to the right of the 0 on the scoreboard of Chicago, it looked like.
Fair to say, Suter's fooling nobody tonight. Great approach from the Marlins. We mentioned how both starters had rough starts, typically in their starts. First 3 innings, 7.50 ERA for Suter. Already given up 4. I mentioned Urania had the same issue, but he seems to be on his game tonight. 8.25 ERA in the first 3 innings for him. And then he settles down after. Line drive base hit to center field. Breaking ball for Justin Bour, his first time up.
It was Bour that started that 3-run rally, I guess you could say, in the second inning. The leadoff base hit. Maben had a base hit. The Brinson 3-run home run. Caleb Smith and Junior Guerra in tomorrow afternoon's finale of this 4-game set, before the team boards the plane and heads west to wrap up this 9-game, 10-day road trip against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ball and 2 strikes to Justin Bohr. Got a piece of that one to stay alive. Well, I guess it only makes sense when you talk about the velocity and how low it is for Suter, but the exit velocity, you know, he's not providing a lot of the pop, obviously. Last year on his 4-seam fastball, which again, as you noted, doesn't come in all that fast, the exit velocity on average was 84.75 miles per hour. This year, the exit velocity on that 4-seamer is under 80. In Florida, you might not get a ticket driving that fast.
Well, he does get good extension. He's a tall guy, 6'5", good reach, length towards home, hides the ball well, but again, it's not overwhelming. That's really what it comes down to. As a hitter, you've got to maintain that center approach and work from there. He doesn't have the velocity to get it by you. So what do? You work not to get tricked.
Bohr out to left field. Braun puts it away for out number 2. Those averages are going to go up. That Brian Anderson double was at 101 miles an hour. The Brinson home run was at 111. The Maben base hit was at 109. The Dietrich home run and even 100, and even the Miguel Rojas fly ball in the 3rd inning. Just the 2nd inning rather was 104 miles an hour.
That is the bat handle normally used. Cameron Maben, not tonight, is using Justin Bohr's bat. Now, you see right there, it's kind of got that axe handle, and he likes the feel of that. I never got used to it. Of course, that bat didn't exist when I played many moons ago. And so you see it. It's got a little bit of a different handle, a little tapered handle as well. So he's going with Bohr's bat tonight. You asked the question why. Well, he's struggling, plain and simple, or at least until his last at bat he was. And that's the idea. I mean, it's as simple as this. When you're going through something good, bad, and different, you say, you come away from a game last night, he hit the ball hard a couple times, but didn't get the results that he was looking for. You say, maybe I'll try a little heavier bat just to change it up a little bit. Good night to try it, by the way. As we mentioned, Suter does not possess a ton of velocity.
Well, I know our CEO, Derek Jeter, there weren't many downs, but there's ups and downs in every career. Never used a different bat. Did you adjust along the way?
All the time. I told you, I had times where I had teammates, I would have their names put on my bats just to trick myself so that I wouldn't think they were my bats. They were my teammates' bats. I'm serious. I think I'm kidding. I'm not.
Another check over at second, but Anderson is back head first.
Yeah, I would order, like, say, for example, if Miguel Rojas had a bat I liked, Miggy comes up and says, Holly, you're struggling here, but try my bat, man. It's just a little different feel. You get in there, you start to feel good, get a couple hits. Well, you can't just start plowing through his bats. They're his, and he needs them. So what do? You go to your clubhouse manager, you say, listen, I need to get some bats. I'd like to order some with Miggy's name on them, and you get them in the dimensions that you like, but it's his bat. And then you just put your number on the end of it. It's all good. Guys do that stuff all the time.
Who pays for it? You or
the team?
Oh, the team does. Oh, it's making sure you put his name on it. He's got to pay for it, which is, I think, smart. This sort of fly ball down the right field line. Then again, I'm just cheap.
That would be an interesting proposition, I think, absolutely, for the big league ball players if they were supporting themselves in the bat department.
No. Put it on his bill. You got me out of the slump.
Yeah, no.
He insists.
It's one of the many revolving expenses that a major league team has to deal with, including batting practice baseballs, which we'll talk about another day.
2-2 to Maben. He wafts one out to shallow left field. Coming in is Braun, and he puts this one away for out number 3. 4-1, Marlins on top. To the ballpark and celebrate Puerto Rican heritage on Saturday, April 28th, when the Marlins take on the Rockies. Purchase a bundled ticket package and receive an exclusive Puerto Rican Heritage Night jersey. To join the festivities, purchase your tickets today at marlins.com/Puerto Rico. So you can get your hands on one of these bad boys right here. I like it. Flag on the side. It's good. You know, and then if you're big time like my pal here, you get your name on the back.
No. Not anymore. Play for the name on the front, buddy. There you go.
Oh, thanks. That's good.
A quick lesson, right? There you go. Miami. I love it.
Nice.
Got the flag on it and everything.
April 28th. Come out to the ballpark. Check it out. Beautiful. I might keep this one.
Why don't you wear it now?
Maybe. Next time we come on camera. Jed Bandy leading things off for the Brewers here in inning number 3, trailing by 3. Brent Suter and Lorenzo Cain to follow against Jose Urena. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the second strikeout for Urena. That will bring up Brent Suter. Is it just me, or does he look like Chris Young?
Just like him.
The pitcher, Chris Young.
Nope, it's not you. I think there's a semblance there.
Because I'm like, looking at him, like, who does he look like? And then, boom, just got him.
Well, he's tall. He's tall as well.
Yeah.
6'5" now. I believe Chris Young's much taller than that.
He's like in the 6'10".
6'10" range, 6'11". Yeah, he's a pretty big guy.
He played basketball at Princeton, did Chris Young. This young man went to Harvard, graduated from Harvard. So,
Ivy Leaguers. You're saying there's a look.
Ivy Leaguers look alike, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. He struck out, and that is out number 2 here in the 3rd. Now a message from FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep liability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
2 up and 2 down, both on the strikeout for Urania. 3 for him to this point, 3 through the first 9 batters he faces. Back to the top of the lineup for Lorenzo Cain. Cain spins out of the way of that one. He grounded out to Miguel Rojas to lead off the Brewers' offensive night back in inning number 1. And he grounds to the left side. And that is Brian Anderson with a strong throw, but it goes into the camera well. And Cain is going to head over to second.
Brian Anderson strong with everything till the throw. Nice job going into the hole. Spins around. The tail on the throw is what's going to get Justin Bohr. This throw high. We've seen a few throws from Anderson high this season. Not nearly as much tailing action. I wonder if his momentum as he was kind of pirouetting around and getting his shoulders square, if there had something to do with that tailing action on his ball across the diamond.
Now Christian Yelich. And I believe Urania just got called for a balk from home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez.
Never came set. So he tried to step off. Quickly made his way back up to the top, but did not come set. Lorenzo Cain is now at third base. Help of the Marlins. Thankfully 2 outs and 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning if he can retire the hot Yelich.
Blocked there by Holiday. Ball and no strikes. Well, this Brewers offense scored 5 runs in the 4th inning of last night's ball game, all with 2 outs. So again, they are a quick strike group. And along those same lines, it's situations like this that the Marlins have had a little bit of trouble on the road trip. Of the 33 runs that they have allowed, 21 have been with 2 outs. Trying to keep it right there with Cain away from third. Yelich swings and misses. A ball and a strike.
Well, it's been apparent in this series, 13 of those by the Brewers. It's 2 nights.
Ball and a strike to Yelich. That one low, 2-1. Urania having a little fun over there with Cain. Focus has to be on Yelich right here. Grounded, Rojas slides, throws, got him. Nice play by Miguel Rojas to his right to make the play and help retire the side. When we come back, check in with Lewis Brinson, who's already got a home run in this one.
Welcome back to Miller Park, where Lewis Brinson is due up. No doubt that prior to the series, he was going through a tough stretch. During that time, he got encouragement from everyone, including Derek Jeter.
Just told me keep swinging. Don't be passive, just keep swinging. It'll come. There's a reason why you're up here type of conversation. So, yeah, it's total confidence in me. And, you know, obviously great guy to talk to, one of the greatest guys to talk to about stuff like that. You know, him being, you know, the figure he is. Just to have him around and around the cage and speaking to us and, you know, being very open about everything, you know, it means a lot.
3 home runs in this series so far, guys. It looks like those few days that Don Mattingly gave him to regroup have certainly paid off.
Jessica, thanks so much. I would agree with that. 3 homers in now 2.5-ish games here in Milwaukee. Brinson comes up empty there to lead off the 4th inning. But that's the thing, and we've talked about this the last few days. When you go through these little changes, that's exactly what they are, little changes. He's not revamping his whole swing or anything along those lines.
And there's still adjustments to be made, and I think that's where Lewis Brinson's at right now. Remember, listen, we're all excited. We've seen the 3 home runs, but they've been on pitches for the most part that have been at the thighs and down. As you saw right there, still working on the pitch up. When you make adjustments, even when they're subtle, it can take some time.
Bandy with room behind home plate, and Holiday is retired. 2 up and 2 down here in the 4th.
Very rarely will you make an adjustment in your swing and be like, all right, that feels great, I'm good to go, and you just move on. There's going to be days where you're going to feel it in batting practice, and you got to kind of time it out till it becomes second nature. Then you know you're good to go.
That's what Don Mattingly had said, that, you know, any adjustments that he was making, he wanted to give him time and not have to put it into game practice for a few days. Even the game that he did come into in New York, it was a defensive replacement or part of a double switch, whatever it was late in the ball game. He probably wasn't going to get it at bat, so I have to add that pressure to it.
Well, any young player, any major league player, any veteran asks himself questions internally in your head as the game's going on. So strike 3.
Quick inning right there for Suter. A couple of strikeouts. He's got 4 through 3.5. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Marlins up 4-1. Is brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. Stiff joints, aches, and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. By the Coral Springs Auto Mall across the street from the Coral Square Mall. We make it easy. Back here at Miller Park, bottom of the 4th inning. It's a 4-1 lead, and you'll see way up there, section 422, right there. That is not the actual Bob Uecker. His office is a little further south than that. But
so why did I see you up there earlier today?
Well, I had to Instagram it, of course. You go up there, and of course, it's all from the Miller Lite commercial way back in the day, where he goes, you know, he goes down to his seat and he says, "I must be in the front row," and then it turns out he's actually in the last possible row.
Did anybody check your credentials when you made your way up there?
Well, of course. True story. Either he is a phenomenal liar or he actually knew who I was. But I went up to Bob Uecker today as Ryan Braun takes ball 1, and I said, "Hi, Bob, Paul Severino, Marlins TV." And he goes, "Oh, Paulie, yeah, I know who you are."
Long lost friend.
Absolutely.
Didn't know that, did you?
I had no idea. And I said to him, you know, I was walking upstairs to see if I could get a picture with the statue. I said, "I was just upstairs looking for your statue."
There he is.
Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, it's very high up there." He said, "I've only been up there once. It's way too high." And it is. My goodness gracious. But a great view of this beautiful ballpark, might I add. 50 years in baseball and counting for Bob Uecker. You know where I first realized who Bob Uecker was?
Miller Lite commercial.
Wrong. Darn it. Take another guess.
You're too young for Johnny Carson, so I don't think that's a possibility.
No, it's not Major League either. Mr. Belvedere.
There you go.
Used to love Mr. Belvedere as a kid. I think it's still on late nights.
Yeah, you can find the reruns probably at Nick of Night or something like that.
But yeah. Been doing this a long time, Bob Uecker. But yeah, I mean, Major League might be, for me, my man, as Ryan Braun sends one out to the gap in left center field. It's going to fall in front of Lewis Brinson, who bobbles it, and Braun is going to take second base. Another well-struck ball by Ryan Braun. He's on second to lead off the 4th. Time for our Toyota Inside Look. That hit should really come as no surprise as you take a look at the all-time ranks against the Marlins, and Ryan Braun has certainly feasted. But then again, that's not just limited to facing the Marlins. You go up and down the franchise leaderboard, whether it's home runs or RBIs, extra base hits, total bases. Ryan Braun has been one of the best offensive forces in Brewers franchise history. There's Travis Shaw, who takes low and in. Shaw had the home run to left center field back in his first at-bat.
Seen throughout the series how Shaw likes to get his arms extended, particularly on the pitch away.
Just the 2 hits given up. The double by Braun a moment ago, and the home run from Shaw back in the 2nd. What I was going to say before Braun had the double was, for my money, Major League's the best baseball movie out there. Watched a little bit of Bull Durham today. That's another classic. Do you have a favorite baseball movie?
More of a Sandlot guy.
Oh,
yeah, I love it. I watch it with my sons. Well, even my daughter, she jumps in every now and again.
Well, make sure that you're at the ballpark July 15th.
Company man, you know that, right?
Absolutely. 25th anniversary of the Sandlot.
Tease it. There you go.
Marlins take on the Phillies at 1:10, and it's part of Sandlot Day. A limited number of Hamilton Ham Porter bobbleheads.
Maybe the best of the year. There you go.
Look at that.
Love it. Squints. That is a fantastic giveaway. Can't beat that.
Oh. Marlins.com/themes to check that one out.
Well, first 2 men aboard here in the 4th inning. This is not a lineup you want to mess around with and put extra guys on for Uranian. He's been good so far tonight. 55 pitches. He's been efficient. He's going to have to navigate through Thames.
That walk was his first of the night. Comes after the double, so 2 runners aboard for the lefty slugging Thames, who fouls it straight back, 0-1.
Thames a long line drive out his first time up to right field. Home runs. Last 2 Aprils combined for Thames. That leads all of Major League Baseball.
Speaking of the home runs, it's been somewhat feast or famine for him, at least in the RBI department with the home runs. The bases loaded walk that he drew last night was the first RBI this season that he drove in without the benefit of a home run. Tap foul, 1-2.
And he likes homers and walks, and he'll deal with the occasional strikeout. He's the modern player, right? Homestand, 4 for 12, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, and 3 walks. There you go. That's what he does. You wonder with some of the young hitters in today's game if they're uninterested with the singles. I've seen some looks at first base, you know, almost like, this bores me.
It's still a base hit in the big leagues, though,
hey,
right?
Listen, I can almost remember every one I had, and you know, you talk to anybody in my generation, this is the way we all thought. I do wonder sometimes that, you know, you watch, you know, the game's definitely different. You know, we look at the outcomes, we certainly understand the value of the walk and the approach. Of course, the home run being a big part of this discussion.
Ground ball past the dive of Castro and into right field. Braun's getting waved around. Throw will go to third. And it's first and third after the RBI single for Eric Thames. It's now 4-2.
Don't believe Thames is going to complain when he's driving in runs with base hits. Either way, Brewers are up and running here in the 4th inning. A double, a walk, now a base hit to right. Thames front foot down early, certainly respecting the velocity of Urania. He scoots it just into right field. Braun off with the pitch, scores easily.
So now the Brewers are in business with a run home, runners on the corners. Still nobody out. There's Eric Sogard. Fouls that one straight back, 0-1. Sogard grounded out to Justin Bohr at first back in the 2nd inning.
Sogard a slow start. Doesn't play every day. Doesn't get a whole lot of opportunity. He was impressive last year, though. .393 on base percentage in 94 games for the Brewers. Brewers brought him back. He plays to contact. He will be looking for that contact here.
Now you could play multiple infield positions. Play them well defensively. Grounds this one to Castro. He bobbles it. They'll get the out at first, but Shaw is going to come in to score. And it's now 4-3.
Ground ball to the right side from Sogard. Starlin Castro trying to be quick and make the turn. As he does, bobbles the ball. And gives up on any out he thinks he may get at second base. Gets the sure out at first. And there have been now a few plays in this ball game that have not gone the Marlins' way.
They already have an error. That was on the Brian Anderson throwing error. That one doesn't go down as an error. But a misplay that leads to a run, and it would have anyway, as the bases, it was first and third, nobody out. The run would have scored easily. Nevertheless, runner on second, 1 out, and a 1-0 count coming to Jonathan VR. Squares to bunt. Did he go? He did not. 2 balls and no strikes. Third of a 4-game set here tonight. Tomorrow, the series wraps up. Marlins Live. The pregame show is on the air at 1:30 for a 2:10 first pitch. Craig Minervini, Gabby Sanchez back in the studio. Ryan Braun talks with former Miami Hurricane Ryan Braun about getting back on track. The two starting pitchers, Candace Smith and Junior Guerra. To wrap up this 4-game set in Milwaukee. Chop to short. Rojas on the backhand. Gets VR for out number 2 and over to third goes Thames. In steps Jet Bandy, who struck out back in the 3rd inning. Urania has 3 strikeouts. He registered 2 of them in that 3rd. He got Bandy. And then he got Brent Suter right after him. Barnes loosening in the bullpen, and Domingo Santana out in the on-deck circle. I wonder if the night for Suter is done.
Well, it could very well be. The opportunity presents itself. Remember, key number 3 in the Honor Nation scouting report. Short and sweet. Listen, Suter does not go long into ball games. 12 consecutive starts without pitching 6 innings. Tells you where he has been. Comes in with a 4.37 ERA and got knocked around that first time up. First time through the lineup. Counsell certainly would play for the tie. Go to the bullpen. Do not believe Craig Counsell is trying to trick the Marlins into believing anything's different than what you see. Right now, I believe Santana will actually take the at-bat if, in fact, Bandy somehow reaches.
2 balls and a strike. Chopped wide of the third base bag. 2-2. Well, the inning started with a double for Ryan Braun. Travis Shaw then walked. Eric Thames an RBI single. Eric Sogard with an RBI ground out. Jonathan Villar with a ground ball to shortstop a moment ago. So 2 runs in the inning for Milwaukee as they have pulled back to within a run. Jose Urania would like to keep it right there. 2-2 is inside. The count runs full. Counsell will have a 30 home run bat off his bench.
It's a deep lineup, deep roster. Get Santana right. Anticipate him getting more playing time as he tries to get his swing in order. He has not homered yet this season. Struggling at the plate.
Payoff pitch from Urania is fought off, and he'll see another. 72 pitches to this point for Urania. Through 74 in his first outing against the Chicago Cubs. Got up to 109 in 7 innings pitched against the Red Sox. 80 pitches in 5 innings against the Mets. And in his last start against the Pirates, 5 innings, 90 pitches. And he will see another.
Urania continues to beat him with the fastball on the inside part of the plate. Bandy does a nice job fouling it off, but again, getting very good swings at the fastball. See Urania stay right in there on the hands and hopefully get some bad contact.
Again the 3-2, and again fouled off. This seems to be a bit of an issue for the Marlins, just again in total. It's finishing off batters. These opposing hitters, whether it's the Brewers or whoever else they may have faced, they just keep fighting on them off and fighting them off.
Well, remember, I think you can also get into, and this is probably the wrong time to get into this conversation, but look who the Marlins have played in the early going. I mean, you're going up so against the best offenses in the game of baseball. I think over time, things will balance themselves out a little bit better, but you're seeing incredible contrast right now because of these lineups. You're right, this is one of the best lineups in the league. So are the Red Sox. So are the Yankees. So are the Cubs.
Grounded to Rojas. To first. And the inning is over. Brewers score a couple. Marlins protecting a 1-run lead. Fifth inning. This summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th only on Fox and FS1. So it's a Captain America bobblehead night, superhero theme. You got kids dressed up like it's Halloween around here. This is a fantastic atmosphere on a Saturday night.
Who doesn't love superheroes? Especially little ones.
Dig it. Yeah, absolutely.
The world's superheroes. Well, I wonder about that Spider-Man. I'm thinking he may need a hole there so he can breathe through his mouth. With the costume.
I'm sure they'll be fine. Just give the youngsters cotton candy. They'll survive. That's all they need. That's the only nutrition kids under 10 need is cotton candy, especially at a ball game. It's just the ride home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, trying to get them into bed when they're all hopped up on sugar. Whoops. Line drive right to Shaw, and Rojas is retired.
Perfectly placed as far as Travis Shaw is concerned. One step and a jump. Good swing of the bat from Rojas. Deep fly ball to left. Walk as well. So swinging the bat well against Suter.
Yeah, so because Suter didn't bat in the bottom of the inning, he's back out there here in the top of the fifth inning and delivers a strike on the off-speed pitch to Derek Dietrich, who hit a solo home run back in the first inning. And pops this one up on the infield, and VR for out number 2. It's time for This Day in Marlins History, presented to you by Geico. Marlins win over the Philadelphia Phillies 8-7 in 12 innings, and Mike Lowell, the first Marlin to hit 3 home runs in a game. So on this date in 2004, a few years, like 3 years before Mike Lowell went on to the World Series MVP with the Boston Red Sox. Called strike to Starlin Castro. Castro 1 for 2 in this one. been a lot of different combinations and permutations of the lineup for Don Mattingly, but the one constant has been Castro in the 3-hole. 3 different guys have led off. 3 different guys have played second base. But our Florida Lottery in-game jackpot shows Starlin Castro, who lines one to left field. That will fall in front of Ryan Braun. Castro's second hit, improving on that number we saw a moment ago. Does some damage against lefties, so we'll update that, I'm sure. The on-base percentage jumps with that 2-out base hit. So now it's Brian Anderson, who had a ringing double off the scoreboard in left field in his last trip back in the 3rd inning. Part of that lineup shuffle tonight as he moves up from the 5-hole to the 4-hole.
2 stolen bases against Suter in his major league career, so runners do not move off of first base too often. There's only been a handful of attempts. His unorthodox delivery has made things a little more complicated. That should allow a runner to move up, though.
That will help. Gets away from Bandy, and to second goes Castro with 2 outs. One in the first for the Marlins on a home run. 3 in the second for the Marlins on a home run. Brewers got one back on a home run in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and they just tacked on 2 in the bottom of the 4th. So we're back to a 1-run ball game. Got some insurance now sitting in scoring position in a hitter's count for Brian Anderson. One low, 3-0.
Good take, Brian Anderson. Good at bats tonight. Here ahead 3-0. Justin Bohr sitting in the on-deck circle.
Green light for the young man?
I'd like to see it, but I'm not sure he'll go. Playing off that last swing. Is Anderson still trying to work back into a good rhythm again? You know, sometimes you like to take pitches, and he certainly does. As you know, guy next to you, most of us don't love to swing 3-0.
That's right.
Even if you know it's coming.
Three and 2 to Anderson, through the hole on the right side. Castro around third. Here comes the throw from right field. Not in time, and it's an RBI single for Brian Anderson. The Marlins take a 5-3 lead.
Well, take 2 and go to right. That is the formula for the Marlins' 5th run. Hit 3-0, takes till 2-3-2, and it's a fastball on the outside part of the plate and drives it the other way. Well done. We've seen him do it a number of times in the early going. Continues to pick up RBI base hits to the right side of the diamond. We talked about all the 2-run RBIs, 2-out RBIs for the Brewers this series. Nice to see the Marlins respond.
Anderson back. So those numbers improving for Anderson, as he was a .286 hitter with 2 outs, and a big knock right there. Had an insurance run. Also helps the .222 average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Either way, Marlins will take the insurance run here in the middle innings. Now Bohr to first, off the glove of Thames, who has to recover, flips to Suter, who steps on the bag. But the Marlins get one right back. And they've got themselves a 5-3 lead going to the last of the 5th. Time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's go out to Chicago, where the Astros had a 4-0 lead in the second. Bases loaded, and Josh Reddick connects on a grand slam. That extended it to an 8-0 lead, one of 2 home runs in the game, as the Astros are currently in front of the White Sox. That one is 10-0 in the top of the 4th inning. Score here 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Pinch hitter for Brent Suter is Domingo Santana, who grounds that one foul.
Well, you mentioned Chicago and the White Sox. Everybody in the baseball community praying for Danny Farquhar. Passed out, fainted, I should say, in the White Sox dugout last night. Dealing with an aneurysm. He's in critical condition in Chicago. So everybody in the baseball community say a prayer for this young man. I would imagine that had to be pretty gripping in the White Sox dugout last night.
Yeah, it's one of those things you certainly don't prepare for, and of course you don't know what's going on. The game continues, and you know your mind is certainly with your teammate, with your brother. So again, for all of us here with the Marlins, with the Fox Sports family, our best wishes go along to Danny Farquhar and the Chicago White Sox. In terms of this ball game, the day is done for Suter. He goes the first 5 innings, gives up the 5 earned runs as Santana pinch hits for him, and we'll see a 3-2 pitch, and he draws the leadoff walk here in inning number 5.
Productive at bat from Domingo Santana, who is hitless on the homestand, 0 for 15. In fact, stuck in an 0 for 16. Draws the leadoff walk as this lineup will roll over.
Lorenzo Cain reached on a throwing error back in the 3rd inning. Bats with 1 on and nobody out here in the 5th. And Cain has had himself a real nice couple of nights here against the Miami Marlins. Second stint with the Brewers in his career, originally drafted by them in the 17th round in 2004. Won a World Series with the Kansas City Royals. His free agency came up this offseason and came back home, you could say. 5-year, $80 million deal for Lorenzo Cain, who takes inside 2 balls and a strike.
Certainly satisfied with his production through about 20 games or so for the Brewers. Getting on base, leads this team in walks and runs scored. Base percentage near 400 out of the leadoff spot. Brought Yelly on board as well, and it changed the dynamic of this team. We've talked about how the Brewers operate, even going back to last year. You see lots of home runs, 224 of them last season. They weren't a tremendous on-base percentage team. Now they did take advantage by being aggressive on the bases when they did get on, as they would like to run. So 128 stolen bases to go along with it. But again, some of those numbers that are in between, they're not piling guys on base. They're getting some guys on and hitting some home runs, really, is when you get to the bottom of it. What do? You go out and you bring in a couple of outfielders. You give yourself some incredible organizational depth. In fact, you got too many guys in the outfield right now and not enough spots. But you got a couple guys at the top of your lineup that get on base regularly for the power hitters.
Last year, Cain was one of just 3 players to hit 300 with 15 or more home runs and 25 or more stolen bases. The other 2 players, the MVP of the American League, Jose Altuve, and Tommy Pham of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cain, left side, base hit. 2 on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Oh, Todd's going to love this. It's the 25th anniversary of the movie The Sandlot, so to pay tribute, a couple of Brewers players, including Christian Yelich, got together to recreate the iconic scene when Scott Smalls is first introduced to the presence of the Beast. The video was about 2.5 minutes long. The Brewers posted it on social media, and everyone loved it. If you have not had a chance to see the full video, be sure to watch it because it is fantastic. Christian Yelich starring as Benny the Jet Rodriguez behind the plate right there. Guys.
That's good. I haven't checked out the whole thing just yet, but Stephen Vogt, by the way, is an amazing actor. He is an unbelievable actor. Have you ever seen him do a basketball referee?
I have.
That
he is talented.
That is really something else. Again,
My guess is that he was probably involved in the production of it.
Somehow, some way.
Right.
Directed by Stephen Vogt, sure.
Sandlot Night, 25th movie anniversary.
Stephen Vogt right there, working his way back from a shoulder injury, a strained right shoulder. Last check, likely to make his season debut May 1st. Injured that shoulder late in the spring. Here's Christian Yelich now.
Good changeup to start the sequence. As bullpen activity begins. Nick Whitgren up for the Marlins.
Called up yesterday after the injury to Odrisamer Despaigne. 10-day DL for Despaigne, so in comes Whitgren and a swing and a miss for Yelich. 0-2. Needless to say, a big spot in this ball game as Urania is getting set to deliver his 90th pitch, protecting a 2-run lead. 2 on, nobody out in the 5th inning against the heart of this potent Brewers lineup. Yelich gets a piece to stay alive. Hope for Don Mattingly for all of his pitchers, but specifically his ace, and most certainly in this particular ball game, is get deep into the game. Broken back, foul ball.
Well, hit that off the top of the cup and it split his bat in half. Urania has spent some bullets, some pitches here over the last few innings. 3 in the 4th. See that right off the top. He's going straight at him with changeups. Yelich has been very aggressive on the changeup. Again, fooled by that little tailing action down in the zone. Just able to get a piece.
Santana the runner on at second and Kane at first. Again, the 0-2 pitch. This one is sent out to right center field. Moving over is Maben, and he's there to make the catch. Tagging from second and heading to third is Santana.
Well, either way you look at it, a productive out off the bat of Yelich. He's looking for something to get his barrel on and drive to the right side. Deep fly ball to right. Moves Santana up a base.
So here's Ryan Braun, going to be a part of our Marlins Live pregame show tomorrow. He's going to sit down with Jessica Blaylock. Blaylock will talk with the former Miami Hurricane.
RBIs in this series. We've talked about how this Brewers lineup operates. Some boppers and Braun and Shaw in the 3-4 spot in the lineup. We've seen his power in this series already with 2 home runs.
Won a pinch hit home run on Thursday night. Just the second pinch hit home run of his career. Obviously, of course, so often an everyday player. And last night a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. Runner goes from first, and Braun sends one in the air to deep left center field. Brinson's going to have some room, but it will be deep enough to score Santana. And back quickly to first is Kane. A sacrifice fly for Ryan Braun. Back to a one-run lead for the Marlins.
Couple of deep fly balls. Now Santana to move up, doing the job. Team leading 14th RBI for Braun.
Travis Shaw, homer back in the second inning. Check over there at Kane. A couple of walks tonight for Urania. Both of them have come around to score. That clearly has been an issue in this series for the Marlins. Their starting pitchers, whether it be Trevor Richards last night, who walked 6, or Dylan Peters, who walked 5 on Thursday. Just the 2 walks, but when they come around to score, those free bases come back to haunt you. The Marlins do have a 1-run lead here in the 5th inning. The 97th pitch for Urania misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
Very carefully to the dangerous Travis Shaw. We've used words like cliches like hitting is contagious throughout this series. It's kind of the feeling you have right now with this Brewers lineup. Willing to swing 3-0 right there from Shaw. He was not going to get cheated. My goodness. Pitch off the outside corner. We talked about it repeatedly. The Brewers struggled mightily. In fact, they came into this series with a negative 15 run differential. Going into tonight's ball game, they've now gotten up over their +2.
And Shaw out to right field. Back goes Maben, has room, puts it away for the 3rd out of the 5th inning. Both teams score 1 in the 5th. 5-4 after 5. See the Phillies on the next homestand about a week or so from now. After LA, then it's back home. Colorado, Philadelphia on the backside of that homestand. Jacob Barnes is the new pitcher tonight. He follows up Brent Suter, who went the first 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, 5 earned through 87 pitches. As Barnes takes over in his 10th game, opponent batting average under 150. They'll face Cameron Maben, Lewis Brinson, and Brian Holiday here in inning number 6 with the Marlins up a run.
He's unscored upon in his last 9 appearances. He's got a big arm. Picked up a save his last appearance. It's the last game against the Reds. He went 2 innings to get that save. Struck out 3.
Cameron Maben singled and scored back in the 2nd inning. Came in on the Lewis Brinson home run. He also flew out. Tries to get back on track, at least with the results. Said before the game that he's been feeling good. Feels like he's right there. That's why he went to the different bat today. It's 2 or 3 ounces heavier, but he said he just wants to be able to trust his hands a little bit. And boy, did he ever when he rocketed a single back in the 2nd inning. Say rocket, I mean it. According to StatCast, 109 miles an hour off the bat. We've seen Maben make some hard contact this year. And he comes up empty for the first out here in the 6th.
Barnes moving the fastball around the strike zone. Able to put him away with 1 at the knees away for a couple to the inside part. Maben leaking just a little bit.
Speaking of back on track, Lewis Brinson certainly seems to be there here in Milwaukee. 3 home runs thus far. He had 2 on Thursday night, and he hit another loud one earlier in this ball game. He takes ball 1. 3-run homer back in the 2nd inning, and at the time gave the Marlins a 4-0 lead. Play Brinson straight up. Takes a look at ball 2. It's time for our Toyota Trend. His career at Miller Park, of course, played some here last year as a member of the Brewers, but 14 games, 5 hits, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. Some of that damage done, obviously, in this series. Feels good.
Let's go back to game 1 and take a look. Getting up on velocity, 94 miles an hour, short, quick, through the zone. Great hand action. Now tonight, going up against the lefty, gets that changeup down at the knees. Stays on it, front foot down, stays behind it. That's what you like to see. Again, the difference between the 2, high velocity and the home run tonight, more on an off-speed pitch, but stayed back. Sometimes you get a little drifty with that with a young player who wants to go out and get that. 84 miles an hour. He did not. He stayed back and let his hands do the talking.
He got in on his hands a bit. Fights it off. 3-2. Talked about it in the spring. We talked about it in the first week or so of the season. Certainly talking about it now. The Marlins love the kid's work ethic, and even though he's had some ups and downs, as was going to happen this year, not just for Brinson, but for really this entire team. Don Mattingly talking about it before the game, mostly about how these first 2 games have gone, but the young guys are going to have to grind through the year a bit. Have got to get themselves ready to play, especially on the road. It's a long season. They've got to be able to prepare themselves game to game, kind of forget whatever happened yesterday, certainly forget the bad, and take the good swings from day to day. No question about that, but it's certainly a grind, the 162. As Britson strikes out, back-to-back strikeouts for Barnes. 2 away here in the 6th.
The cut fastball does him in. You mentioned it. Really just talking about the predictability of younger players, and it's very hard. That's going to be a challenge for Don Mattingly, for the staff this year. Yeah, you're going to work through, you know, obviously some of the youth that you have on the team, but you know, for any manager, I used to talk about this at MLB Network all the time. The managers want predictability. When you've got players who've done it for 4, 5, 6 years, you've got predictability. You look at the back of the baseball card. You've heard that one before. I know you have.
Oh yeah.
And it makes sense. You say, okay, what's an average season for that type of player? Well, that's not how this roster is put together. So there's going to be some ups and downs. And again, trying to get to that predictability. You know, one thing young players do all the time is surprise you. I mean, did you not feel surprised the other night when Brinson went deep on 95? Did it not get your attention right away? That's what they do. We all do it, and having lived it and done it, you know, you got to get 2, 3, 4 months into the season before you start looking at some of your younger players and say, this is what we're going to get from him week in and week out.
Ryan Holiday 0 for 2. We'll see a 2-0 and take a called strike. Yeah, it was the back of the baseball card and that track record that Don Mattingly was talking about last week when, you know, people were asking about Lewis Brinson and all this other stuff. He said the only thing that really concerns you about Lewis, and again this was last week, was that, you know, he doesn't have that track record just yet the way that a guy like Justin Bour does. So when Bour was kind of scuffling the first week and a half, you knew he was going to break out of it. He did. 4 home runs in the last homestand. Holiday puts a charge into this one towards center field, sends Kane back, but he's able to track it down for out number 3. Through 5.5, it's 5-4 Miami. Scouting report. What do you have?
Well, let's look. The hot dog won last night. He's the reigning champ from last night. We know he gets himself ready. All right, let's look at the bratwurst. Hamstring issues, but gutting it out tonight. Loaded and overweight to start the season for the Polish. The chorizo, quick starts, spicy finishes, and says I'm chowing the competition. The Italian has been hot. Look at him come down the stretch.
That's right, my paisan, the Italian.
Yes.
3 Italian, you are the winner.
That's a big win
Spot
right
on.
there.
How about that scouting report? What do you think?
Did you say spot on or mod on?
I said spot on, but
Okay,
I'll take
right,
your version. It works.
Spot on. All right, there you go. It's a big win.
Chowing the competition, right?
And he just did moments ago. How about that? Oh, back to the baseball game at hand. Nick Wittgren makes his 2018 season debut. Try to follow that, Nick. Face Eric Thames, Eric Sogard, and Jonathan Villar here in inning number 6 as the Marlins try to protect a 5-4 lead. Again, Wittgren added to the active roster to the bullpen yesterday when Odrisamer Despaigne went on the disabled list. Seven appearances for New Orleans. Didn't allow a run in his first 4 outings, which spanned 4 1/3 innings pitched, but his last 3 outings not as sharp. Upstairs to Thames, 1-1. Thames had an RBI single back in the 4th inning, so flew out back in the 2nd. Wittgren's a guy who had his season cut short. He was on the 10-day disabled list with a right elbow strain on July 28th of last year. Had surgery to remove a bone chip in his right elbow in September by Dr. James Andrews. Tom Mattingly said yesterday as Thames lines one foul down the left field line. For Wittgren, it was a nice winter of rehab. Didn't really have any setbacks. He just kind of kept progressing forward. They knew that they'd see him again at some point, and unfortunately is now, and I say that with Despaigne on the mind, but I'm sure Wittgren is happy to be back up in the big leagues.
Well, it's good to see him. Had a good run last year. In a variety of ways by Don Mattingly. At times was used a little earlier in the game, and then at certain spots picked up some 8th inning work. Going right into the fire tonight. 5-4 ball game, bottom 6.
And the payoff pitch to Thames. Lifted out to left field. Dietrich in a few steps for the first out. Now a message from FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep reliability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
One away for Eric Sogard now as the first batter that Wittgren faces here in 2018. No easy test in Eric Thames.
I've never wanted to question lineup configuration, but I know that you've probably sat over there and said, you know, as hot as Thames was coming into tonight, this isn't a knock on Sogard, but he's an on-base percentage guy. Like you look at one to the other. For thinking Nick Wittgren, he's like, boy, that's a huge first out right there in Thames, and there's no doubt about it. We've seen the power already. Sogard, a little different style. It's on base. In fact, last season, more walks than strikeouts. I cannot believe he possesses the same amount of power as Thames, though.
Well, put it this way. Sogard's got 11 career home runs. Well, Thames has 18 home runs in the last 2 Aprils.
So yes, kind of what I was getting at. I took the long road. There's no doubt about it. But you know, the idea is like, you know, you think that one would protect the other, right?
Right, right. Up and in, brushes Sogard back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sogard in there tonight for Orlando Arcia, who jammed his ankle. X-rays negative, though. So that is good news for the Brewers. So give him a day off today, or at least the start of today. We'll see how the rest of this game shakes out, but certainly good from a Brewers standpoint that nothing is seriously wrong with that young man who made an unbelievable catch in shallow left center field yesterday. Going back, kind of started out toward left center, veered off back toward straightaway left, stuck his glove out and made an amazing catch as Sogard is frozen for the second out here in the 6th inning.
Whitgren's fastball command both sides of the plate, outstanding. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinions that cut through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself. Colin Cowherd, Jason Whitlock, weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1. Speak for yourself. Well, okay. Think about it. Good start for Whitgren. I mentioned moving the fastball around. Has the curveball, has the changeup. It's tough. Tough on lefties and righties. You see the mechanics. Kind of comes straight at you, but steps across to the right side and throws back across. There's no doubt. Looking at the last two batters, both left-handed. Now the third left-handed batter. A hard time picking up his fastball.
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody who likes to kind of break down pitching mechanics would have been ready for a feast today with Urania, with Suter, with Whitgren. Key word in everything you just reminded us all about: deception. Hiding the baseball, giving a hitter something else to look at as opposed to the release point. Talk about it in today's game an awful lot. Velocity. Everybody wants it. Everybody's trying to get it. It's not as simple. I told you this millions of times. You give me a guy who throws 98 miles an hour, and if he takes that ball out of his glove early, comes straight over the top, I'm telling you, he's going to get hit hard by major league hitters. Give me a guy who's throwing 92 miles an hour, gives you a little tilt, keeps that front shoulder in, hides the baseball, you get outs. Big difference, isn't it? Yeah. 6-8 miles an hour, and you say, well, why is the guy throwing so much slower, getting so many more outs? Major league hitter wants to see the baseball out of the hand of the pitcher as quickly as possible so he can identify what he is getting ready to attack. Left side, long run with the shift for Rojas. There will be no play at first. And it's an infield single for Jonathan Villar.
Let's take another look. Villar going with the pitch. He's got to beat his Rojas on the left side. Rojas goes to the backhand, but realizes that the speed of Villar is not going to come up short. The infield hit.
That'll bring up Jet Bandy. Now don't take this as a second guess, because the coaching staff has way more scouting reports than I do. But someone at home might be watching and saying, well, what are you pitching the guy away for with the shift?
Anticipating him rolling over. Get out in front. See the top hand come over and beats that ball into the ground. In fact, you give Villar a little bit of credit there for staying on the pitch and going the other way. He defeated the shift, so to speak. Pitch execution, proper positioning, discipline of the hitter. That's really the key to shifting. You put everybody in position, ask your pitcher to execute the pitch, but you've got to rely on the hitter doing what you believe he's going to do. If he doesn't do it, he goes the other way. Well, you see a slow roller to the left side turn into an infield single.
Oh, 2 to Jet Bandy, who struck out back in the 3rd inning. One of 3 strikeouts for Jose Urania, who went the first 5 innings in this ball game, surrendered 4 hits, 4 runs. He walked a pair and struck out 3. Throwing 99 pitches in this ball game, 59 of them for strikes.
There was a day when you probably would have seen Villar take off already. Only a couple of seasons ago, he stole 62 bases for the Brewers when he came over from the Astros. Stole 23 bases last season. 4 for 4 already this year. He pitches in, staying put at first base. 5-4 ball game.
He's on the move here. Throw down to second base is in time. He tried that swim move, but Castro was able to apply the tag. And that is out number 3 in the 6th inning. A caught stealing gets the Marlins out of the inning, leading by 1. Smiles for Lewis Brinson, and at the moment, smiles for the Marlins as they lead this one 5-4, going to the top of the 7th inning. Paul Severino, Todd Hollingsworth. Some changes for Milwaukee as Hernan Perez comes in to play second base. And Josh Hader, the strikeout artiste, in now his 8th game, an opponent batting average of .079. Notice the innings, 11 2/3. Notice the strikeouts, 25.
He's left-handed, so he starts off with that unorthodox approach. I'm going to go there. I'm a lefty. I'm allowed to go there. It's like a brotherhood. You see where he pitches from. He pitches from first base. He's got a mid-90s fastball, low 80s slider, mid-80s changeup. He is tough to pick up. Last 7 appearances, he has struck out a minimum of 3 batters.
Insane. Well, now it's time for Lowe's whole team together. Here are some of the Milwaukee bullpen arms who have pitched well as of late. And a 19.29 strikeout per 9 for Josh Hader as he gets the pinch hitter Tomas Tellez to foul one off. Ball and 2 strikes to Tellez, who fights that one off to first base, but Hader fields, or rather covers, and there's one away. Well, the Brewers are certainly enjoying the fruits of that left arm for Josh Hader, but sometimes it's the trades that you don't make that work out the best. He was almost a part of a package that would have gone to the New York Mets a couple of years back. The Brewers and the Mets had a few different trade conversations and options kind of floating around, going on around the trade deadline in 2015. And it was all stemming from the original trade that you may recall that we all thought the baseball world was sending Wilmer Flores here. That was the night that Wilmer Flores was seen crying at shortstop at Citi Field. Well, the Mets reportedly didn't like the medicals on Carlos Gomez, so that rumored trade that left Flores emotional took a different form. Hader staying right here in Milwaukee. And I'm certain that they are glad, given the numbers that he's put up early on in 2018, that they are glad that that did not happen.
Well, I'm most interested really just, how they chose to go about 2018. Many people thought he would move into the rotation. He has been left in that super utility reliever role. I think I just made that up. That's what he does, though. Multiple innings, can do a lot of different things for you, including save ball games.
Miguel Rojas out to left field, right field, rather,
Calling all coffee fans. Join us Sunday, April 29th, 1 p.m. versus the Rockies to get your hands on an exclusive Marlins Cafecito Cup presented by Leon Medical Center. This is all while supplies last, so go to marlins.com/promotions for more information. Now, you happen to bring this with you and do this every morning. Is that my understanding?
Yes. Yes, I love coffee. I'm a big coffee guy. Although it's been about a month, I haven't had a cafecito just yet.
How does the coffee pot in your room work?
I don't use the one in the room, the hotel room.
It's not good enough?
Yeah, no, I just think it's disgusting. I'm a germaphobe, and I don't like it.
This guy, he brought his own coffee cup. I love it.
Yeah, have mug will travel. What's wrong with that?
I like it.
While supplies last, and I have mine.
I hear you. It's just how did it get here, and I'm amazed. You're already what? I mean, you're in your rookie season, in your first month of your rookie season, and you've got your own coffee cup on the road. How is this happening?
I'm big time. You didn't know that?
Well, I do now. I know now.
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, I don't use the one in the room. I don't know what is in there. I'm a germaphobe guy. I don't like that kind of stuff. 2-2 to Dietrich. You hear the oohs and ahs, thinking that may have been strike 3. To Derek Dietrich, who homered back in the first. Comes up empty there. A strikeout in the inning for Josh Hader. Time to stretch here at Miller Park. Marlins up a run. Time, shall we? 1997 World Series Game 7. Edgar Renteria just sticks the bat out, sends it into center field, and in comes Craig Counsell. An iconic moment in Marlins franchise history. Their first of, to this point, 2 World Series championships. Utter elation in Miami in Game 7, and now Craig Counsell on the other side. Now he's the enemy.
How about the leap? Everything about that. Edgar Renteria had a great career, great swing of the bat right there, staying on the ball through it. But Counsell, I played with Counts years ago, moons ago actually, when we were together in LA, and you think of like the leap. I mean, how far did he go, right? Watch it. I mean, that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, he almost got off the dirt. He got to the line.
It's like the long jump, for goodness sakes.
Well, I mean, I guess that's like, we just won the World Series. How do you feel? I'm a little light on my feet right now, right?
That's right.
I thought he was going to float away.
Drew Steckenrider, the new pitcher for the Marlins, third of the night as Jet Bandy comes up empty there. It's 0-2. Bandy was up when Jonathan VR was caught stealing to end the 6th inning, so he gets a fresh count. Didn't take long for him to be in an 0-2 hole to Steckenrider, who puts him away on 3 pitches. One away here in the 7th. Well, it wasn't just that World Series for Craig Counsell. They also played the 2001 World Series in Arizona. He was the NLCS MVP, so a guy who has certainly had some big moments in his career, but a local guy. Attended Whitefish Bay High School in Milwaukee, and now in his 4th year as the manager of the Brewers. Hernan Perez, part of the double switch. Big strike 1. Prior to last night, Steckenrider hadn't given up a run in 9 games this season, 8 2/3. Ground ball gets through up the middle, a base hit for Perez. Tying runs aboard here in the 7th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. An inning last night for Steckenrider, 3 hits, couple of runs. Also had 2 strikeouts, but I think for better results this evening, as Don Mattingly's got it set up as best he can. One would think Steckenrider, maybe bear claw with a side of Guerrero if needed, and some Ziegler for dessert. We'll see how it works. Inside to Kane, 1-1. By Holiday, and no advance for Perez. Kane's been on base twice in this ball game. He singled back in the 5th, reached on an error in the 3rd. To Anderson. To second for 1, on to first.
Yes, sir.
Double play. Bang, bang at first, but an out nonetheless, at least for the moment. And we'll see. Brewers taking a closer look at it. Pat Murphy on the phone. Looks like we're good. 5-4 through 7. as we move along here at Miller Park. Matt Albers takes over. Last pitched in the opener of this series. A strikeout in a perfect 9th inning in this his 9th game of the season. So 1 inning worth of Josh Hader and only 1 strikeout. I'm a little disappointed. The baseball fan of me. The Marlins broadcaster couldn't be more thrilled. But anyway, 5-4 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Starlin Castro takes a called strike. Castro, Brian Anderson, and Justin Bohr. Career numbers for Starlin Castro in 5 at-bats. Looking to set the table here in the 8th inning. Marlins up a run. Certainly wanting to add to it. A little bit of insurance. Fouled away. Castro a couple of hits tonight. Singled and scored back in the 5th inning. Albers, the 4th pitcher of the night for Milwaukee. Brent Suter went the first 5, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs. Jacob Barnes worked the 6th, struck out 2. Josh Hader worked the 7th, struck out 1. And now Albers here in the 8th. The inside edge, 2-2. Overall, and mostly anchored by Hader's numbers, this Milwaukee Brewers bullpen, 3rd in Major League Baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings, 7th in Major League Baseball in terms of relief pitcher ERA.
Well, we've seen the power arms throughout the series. Williams, Barnes, Hader.
Castro pops this one up near the dugout. Thames, long run over there, ran into the railing, but also ran out of room. Still 2-2.
Also forget, Brewers are without their all-star closer.
That's right, Corey Knebel.
A big save total last year, strikeout total as well.
Early part of this month, injury to his left hamstring. Initial reports had him missing about 6 weeks, as it's a 3-hit night for Starlin Castro. Get things going here in the top of the 8th inning in the 3rd of a 4-game set. Tomorrow afternoon, Caleb Smith makes his 5th start of the season, and Junior Guerra, who's pitched in 2 games, will make his 2nd start of the year. As we get going, Marlins Live pregame show 1:30 back home for 2:10 first pitch in Miami, 1:10 local time here in Milwaukee. Nice night for Starlin Castro, 3 singles.
2 line drives to left. I'll call it left center. Base hit to right. A nice approach. Talked about the consistency Starlin has had this season, automatically leaving him in the 3 spot in the lineup, not moving him at all. Trust that veteran players at times are going to get into slumps and get themselves out of those slumps. Generally, you don't have nearly the same patience with younger hitters. That's for any manager in the game of baseball.
Castro on the move. That got Anderson in, looked like the heel. Either way, Jog down to first, 2 on, nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Well, Albert's known for his sinking fastball. You saw his sinking fastball sink all the way into Anderson. There it is. Almost hunting. The lower calf, yeah. Odd spot. Again, when you have a fastball that runs and sinks as much as his does, known for getting the ground ball out, see what can happen when one gets away. We'll bring up the big guy, JB, Justin Bohr. Single in the second.
Takes a called strike. This game has the feel of the games that the Marlins have played at home. These tight games, generally low-scoring affairs. Don Mattingly talked about this type of game earlier today about, we feel pretty good about how we play at home. It's about taking it to the road that we're trying to work on. Third stop on the road trip portion of the schedule. Philadelphia was just that 3-gamer. Marlins took the finale of that one. And this lengthy road trip through New York, Milwaukee, and LA. As Bohr pops this one up in the shallow left center field, as Braun's going to call off Sogard for out number 1. They got a split in the Bronx. Lost the first 2 games here. And really all 4 of the games haven't been close. The wins or the losses haven't been close on this road trip. They've all been pretty lopsided, really.
Well, generally speaking, each game had some pivotal moments. You go back to the 5th inning of yesterday's ball game. It was a 3-pitch stretch, and all of a sudden the Brewers just erupted, and all of a sudden things turned. It was a very competitive ball game until that moment. The Marlins, at the same time, have had a few of those games themselves this year. Offense starts to click. You come through a few times, and next thing you know, you're way out in front.
This one just a 1-run game here in the 8th as Cameron Maben is down in the count 0-1. Maben, a base hit, and scored a run back in the 2nd inning.
This is an inning we talk about, and we have since day 1. The Marlins need to be productive. Come through. First 2 guys on, nobody out. Too many times this season we've allowed this inning to get away from them.
Albers gets the sign and delivers. Ball 2, 2-1. Bear claw in the Marlins bullpen. They'll have at least 1 run to work with. Castro at second led off the inning with a single. Brian Anderson was hit by a pitch. Justin Bohr flew out a moment ago, and now it'll be a 2-1 to Cameron Maben. Grounded to short. Sogard, the second for 1. On to first, a double play. So Albers gets the pitch he needed. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Marlins up 5-4.
taking the mound for Miami. There is no question that the Marlins bullpen has worked extensively since the start of the season. In fact, they rank second in Major League Baseball as far as innings pitched, behind only the Angels. Now, Don Mattingly saying yesterday, look, our starters have to do a better job of getting deeper into games. But guys, tonight the Marlins bullpen will add another couple of innings to their total.
Yes, they will, Jessica. Thanks so much. 5 innings from Urania, but 1 scoreless from Whitgren, 1 scoreless from Steckenrider. And now they turn things over to Kyle Bearclaw. Some defensive changes as we get into the bottom of the 8th inning here, as Miguel Rojas moves over to first base and Yaniel Rivera off the bench to take over at shortstop. Kyle Bearclaw's first pitch to his old pal Christian Yelich, ball 1. The numbers for Kyle Bearclaw in his first 8 games.
Outstanding. 15 strikeouts, 7 2/3 innings, only a couple of walks allowed. He's given up 2 home runs. I think the changeup is a big pitch now, is what you love to see. It's not just the 3rd pitch that he shows or flashes every now and again. It's an effective out pitch. National League hitters have to contend with one of the best sliders out of his hands. Spots his fastball. Incorporates the 86 to 87 mile an hour changeup.
Yelich 0 for 3 in this ball game. Had a hit taken away from him back in the 3rd. A terrific play from Miguel Rojas. Three balls and a strike. Brian Braun on deck, the heart of the order for the Brewers here in the 8th. Three-two. Bearclaw 66 appearances in last year's run for the Marlins. 22 holds, which was 8th best in the National League. Looking for another one here in 2018. A hard hit ground ball to second base. Castro to first. 1 away.
Good start to this 8th inning. A wiggle room under the 1-run lead. So pressure is high. Bearclaw has got to get his way through the middle of this Brewers lineup.
He struck out at least 2 in each of his last 3 appearances, all of which have been scoreless. His last 5, really the only blip was against the New York Mets when he gave up a couple of runs. Other than that, 4 scoreless outings in his last 5.
Working ahead in the count to Braun. See that look? Braun asking what that was.
Out to right field. Maben comes in for the 2nd out.
Nice job staying away from the power of Braun. He's been on display in this series. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Subscription includes MLB At-Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
There's Travis Shaw.
Getting back, you talked about those 2 home runs. That's the one time this year where Kyle Bearclaw has worked in back-to-back ball games. This tonight, the second time he's done it. A close eye.
Jeremy Jeffress loosening for the Brewers. Shaw takes outside. He had a home run back in the 2nd inning to get the scoring started for Milwaukee. Walked and came around to score in the 4th inning and flew out in the 5th. And he draws the 4-pitch walk with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Thames. Low and away for strike 1. For Thames, an RBI single in the 4th inning. Marlins jumbled the defense, jumbled the shift against the lefty slugging Thames here with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
Good pitch. Back up slider. Stay away from the power outside the strike zone and to that outside corner. See, he was very successful in the early going. Late in games. It's a power up and down the Brewers lineup. Each pitch thrown a big pitch because of that power.
Small sample size between these two, just 1 at bat, but Bearclaw got the better of Thames with a strikeout. He deals a 1-2, and that one in the dirt. Gets away from Holiday, and he had to make a beeline toward third because of the way the defense was set up, but advancing to second no further is Travis Shaw.
Let's take another look at the defense. Ball in the dirt. Nobody's at third base, and you're going to watch. Taking off for third base, right? The only person between the ball and home plate and really third base is Derek Dietrich, standing way out in left field. You watch this overshift, and you got to be able to defend a ball in the dirt. You saw it right there, hustling over. I was looking at that line and kept thinking there was a fly ball off Thames' bat just earlier in the game, but the Marlins are playing this one on the other side. Anderson has moved back over. Still playing 3 on the right side.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blocked by Holiday, 3-2. So be careful with Sogard on deck. Maybe that is going to be the message here from Holiday.
Now, wild pitch allows Shaw to move up a base. Certainly respect Thames' power. You cannot deny, we talked about this last time through the lineup, who's hitting behind Thames. It's not a knock on Sogard, it's just merely that Thames has some of the best left-handed power in the game.
Payoff pitch coming, it's in the dirt. As Thames draws the walk.
Well, that is a classic intentional, unintentional walk.
So runners on first and second, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fairclough against Sogard. Just below the zone, 1-0. These two have faced each other only once. Sogard 0 for 1. He's 0 for 3 in this ball game, but he had an RBI ground out back in the 4th inning. Tying run in scoring position. Fairclough would like to leave him right there. And he may do just that. Popped up, shallow left. Rivera is back. Dietrich in, and it's going to fall in. 1 run is in. Here comes the second. And Holliday applied the tag to get Thames. But Shaw came in to score. And the Brewers may want to take another look.
It definitely gets him on the right thigh. There's no mistaking the call. Nice job by Holliday. That ball offline, reaching back, full extension. Gets him on the way by. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's out, no challenge, but the damage done as a ball falls in left field. The Brewers tie it after 8. With you, got a tie ball game right now. As some defensive changes for the Brewers as Jesus Aguilar takes over at first base. So the day is done for Eric Thames. And Jeremy Jeffress comes in out of the bullpen, the 5th pitcher tonight for the Brewers.
All right, fly ball. Watch Derek Dietrich. He knows it. Listen, this is not about losing the baseball. This is not merely about a ball drifting. Sometimes when that ball gets high, it'll move to the left or to the right. It's not always just dropping straight out of the sky. So obviously this one falls. Again, you don't want to assess blame, but clearly a ball that should have been caught. Thames not hustling around the bases. Now watch this. He's going to crank it back up into gear. he's also going to allow Holiday to make an incredible tag by really not getting to the inside part of the line. So we've seen some blunders on both sides tonight.
So now it's Lewis Brinson to lead things off here in the 9th inning.
Nice job by Rivera picking up the ball and getting it home as well. I mean, again, this play just a messed up one to begin with.
Jeffers delivers a strike at 95 miles an hour to Lewis Brinson, who hit a 3-run home run back in the 2nd inning. His 3rd home run in this series.
Sometimes as an outfielder, it's hard to run under control with a high pop-up towards the infield. You saw Dietrich coming in and almost like he started to lose his bearings. The ball down. At times as an outfielder, you can run 100 miles an hour when you're running in a straight line trying to catch a ball. Sometimes when you have the high one like that, you come in and you have to slow it down to 75 or 80% so that you don't get too far to the left or to the right. And as you saw Derek getting a little bit closer to the infield, you could clearly tell he was offline to the left.
Swing and a miss for Brinson, and there's one away here in the 9th. Bring up Brian Holiday. Again, made a terrific effort to haul in the throw from shallow left field from Yadiel Rivera through tons of traffic. And then he's got to reach back across his body just to barely get the thigh.
It's an incredible effort because it was a two-hopper. And again, you know, Rivera was doing everything in his power to get the throw off and get it home. Obviously, for the Marlins, thank goodness Thames wasn't running hard around third base. In fact, he had a bad angle around third. He was assuming the ball was going to get caught, and he was pulling up the E-brake. So he comes around third base, tries to re-accelerate. He has to pick up that two-hop throw and then dive back towards home and make a tag.
Chops this one too short. It's Sogard for the 2nd out. Number 9 spot in the order due up here for the Marlins. So Jeffress will face the pinch hitter J.B. Shuck. Series wraps up tomorrow. Caleb Smith and Junior Guerra, but certainly some unfinished business here tonight. Tie game in the 9th.
Jeffress fastball, curveball change. Very good at keeping the ball on the ground. 3-to-1 ground ball to fly ball ratio so far this season. He's done that throughout his career. You see where he lives, particularly at the knees or below. Very rarely challenges at the top of the zone. As a hitter, you set your eyes down there.
J.B. Shuck, a 300 hitter at this ballpark. We'll see a 1-0 pitch and take it for strike 1. Brad Ziegler on the left, Junichi Tozawa on the right. Depend on the situation, who we see. Shuck fouls it straight back. Shuck played in last night's ball game, was 2 for 4. 4 ribbies here at Miller Park. On the ground to second. Perez to Aguilar. A 1-2-3 9th inning. And the Brewers will come to the plate in the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 5. at 5. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. It's good to have options. That's why the Florida Lottery has over 70 unique scratch-off games. So add a little play to your day with these new games. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Fifth pitcher of the night for the Marlins is Junichi Tazawa, pitching in his 11th game this season. We'll try to get this game to the 10th inning.
For Tazawa, an outstanding start to this season until 2 days ago happened. April 19th, right here at Miller Park. 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 6 earned runs. That's why you see the ERA at 6.35. Some pretty good work. He's been mixing the slow curveball, the split finger fastball, and spotting his four-seamer. Off his game just a little bit last time out. Looking for a nice rebound tonight. Big spot.
It's going to be Jesus Aguilar to lead things off. Jet Bandy and then Hernan Perez. There for a called strike at 71 miles an hour.
That's a good look at the slow breaking ball. It was a pitch he developed last year and started to trust a little bit more. Again, we talked about a split finger many times in 2017. It wasn't as effective a pitch as it had been throughout his career. Started using the slow breaking ball to get ahead of hitters. We just witnessed it.
Quickly 0-2 to Aguilar, who is 3 for 6 in this series, 4 for 11 for the Brewers on this homestand. Still batting .400. Something of a platoon role for the Brewers. All right, so take me into the mindset of a young team like the Marlins. They have got a 1-run lead in the 8th inning. They're wiggling out of a jam. A ball goes up in the air. You think that's out number 3. It falls in. Game is tied. How do you keep yourself from thinking we've already lost this game, even though it's 5-5?
Yeah, you don't panic. You just try to slow the game back down. Now it rests on the shoulders of Tazawa. He's got to go out and obviously execute pitches, get back on your game defensively, and hopefully get an opportunity in the top of the 10th to win a game. It's as simple as that. You can't worry about what happened. I have a short memory in the game of baseball. Yeah, there's a play that could have been made. We can go back and pick out probably 5 plays in this game, whether it's the Brewers side of things or the Marlins side of things, that did or didn't work out. I mean, it's just not been a clean game all the way through on both sides. But the point is, you get to this point here, it's 5-5, it's the 9th inning, the bottom of the 9th, you need a 0. And this is a great test for Tazawa.
Just got a piece to stay alive. 1-2.
You'd love to see Junichi, step right into this role. We mentioned 2 nights ago he got knocked around here at Miller Park. It's a big spot. Marlins need a win.
One and 2 to Aguilar. Rounded into the dugout. Still 1-2. Jet Bandy awaits on deck. Again, the 1-2 pitch, and that one is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And he's got to be in a good spot as far as the fastball was concerned right there. Again, leading the way with the slow breaking ball and the split finger fastball. Aguilar trying to let the ball get a little deeper. That 92 on the corner would have worked.
fouls another one off. Nice at bat for Aguilar.
And he's fouling off the secondary pitches. Zawa, if he dials up the low corner away at 92, I think he'll get him.
Another 2-2 pitch, and that one is inside. Count runs full. $37,000 get into it here at Miller Park for a 3-2 pitch to Aguilar, who fights off yet another.
Occasionally we'll see Zawa go up with a fastball. He has really lived at the bottom of the zone throughout this at bat. 10 pitches in. Not seen him try to elevate it all. Part of that is the ballpark. Part of that could be the last time out where he made mistakes up in the zone. Set up outside.
Way outside and just about hit the target, but Aguilar is fighting off just about everything Zawa is offering him tonight. Wow. This guy sat on the bench for 3 hours?
Concentrating, getting ready for this at bat.
Getting his money's worth, right? It'll be the 12th pitch. If nothing else, Aguilar is providing a ton of intel for whoever might follow him. This will be the 13th pitch of the at-bat.
Plenty of foul balls.
Yeah,
for this crowd.
Here it is. Out to right center field, and that one is gone. A walk-off home run for Jesus Aguilar. As the Brewers come back to tie it in the 8th and win it in the 9th, 6-5.
Aguilar battled and battled and battled. Got a mistake out over the plate and up, thigh high. Brewers fans will go home happy tonight, 6-5 winners, as they battle back from an early deficit.
Here's the Coors Light refreshing finish. And it's a walk-off home run to right center field for Jesus Aguilar on the 13th pitch of the at-bat. It's now a 5-game win streak for the Brewers. As they had to come back to tie things up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Beneficiaries of a play that probably could have been made, should have been made. And look at the grab, too, by the way. It bounces and then barehanded right there. Giving it to that man right there, the Bonefish fresh catch of the day. So again, the Brewers tie it in the bottom of the 8th inning. They win it on a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by